Real audio of Emily Rose will leave you shook. Tonight, on Whispers After Midnight, we're venturing into one of the most unsettling, controversial, and terrifying cases of all time. It is the true story of a young woman, known to the world as Emily Rose. A story filled with fear, faith, suffering, and the chilling recordings that many people still refuse to listen to in the dark. Because the sounds captured inside that exorcism room are unlike anything you have ever heard before. This is not a movie. This is not a campfire tale. This is real. The ordinary life of a young girl. Before she became the face of one of the most infamous possession cases in history, Emily Rose, whose real name was Anneliese Michel, was just an ordinary girl. She was born in 1952, in the quiet Bavarian town of Klingenberg, Germany. Her childhood was unremarkable. She was raised in a strict Catholic household, deeply religious, respectful, and by all accounts, normal. Friends described her as sweet, shy, and devoted to her studies. She dreamed of becoming a teacher, of living a life surrounded by family, faith, and education. But something no one could explain, was waiting to shatter her future. The first signs of darkness. It began at age 16. Anneliese suddenly started experiencing terrifying blackouts and seizures. She would lose control of her body, collapse, and convulse violently. Doctors diagnosed her with temporal lobe epilepsy, a condition that can cause seizures, hallucinations, and changes in personality. At first, the family believed medicine would cure her. But the treatment didn't help. In fact, things only grew worse. She began to see terrifying faces of demons everywhere she went. They stared at her from the walls, the ceilings, the corners of rooms. At night, she reported feeling an invisible force pressing down on her chest, suffocating her, making her body heavy and unmovable. And then, the voices started. A voice that wasn't her own. According to her family, Anneliese's voice began to change. Sometimes she would speak in a low, guttural growl, far deeper than her natural tone. Other times, her words came out in rapid bursts of different languages she had never studied, Latin, Hebrew, and even ancient phrases no one around her understood. She grew aggressive. Religious objects in her home began to terrify her. Crosses, rosaries, holy water, things that once brought comfort now enraged her. Her mother said she once picked up a rosary and crushed it in her hands, screaming in a voice that did not belong to her. Neighbors claimed they heard inhuman growls coming from inside the Michel home at night. Anneliese no longer seemed like herself, and her parents began to believe that this was no longer a medical problem. This was something else. The exorcism rituals. Desperate, the family turned to the church. It wasn't easy. Official exorcisms required the Vatican's approval. But after reviewing her case, two priests, Father Arnold Renz and Father Ernst Alt, were granted permission to perform the ancient ritual. Between September 1975 and July 1976, they carried out 67 separate exorcism sessions. Each session could last up to 4 hours. They often began with prayers, but they ended in screams. Anneliese thrashed, growled, and spoke in what the priests claimed were the voices of multiple demons. Judas, Cain, Nero, Hitler, and even Lucifer himself. They brought a tape recorder with them to document the rituals. And what they captured is among the most disturbing audio ever recorded. The real audio of Emily Rose. If you dare to listen to the recordings, you will hear what the priests heard. A voice that no longer sounded human. It growls. It roars. It mocks the prayers being spoken over her. At times, it sounds as if multiple voices overlap, speaking at once, shifting between laughter, curses, and screams. The recordings capture Anneliese saying things no young woman should know. Complex religious phrases, references to ancient heretics, endless curses spat out with venom. One moment she's crying in agony. The next, she's laughing with a sound so cold it chills the blood. Many who have listened to these tapes claim they could not finish them. Some report feeling nauseous, dizzy, or overwhelmed by a sense of dread. Even skeptics admit the audio doesn't sound human. A battle of body and soul. As the months dragged on, Annalise's body withered. She stopped eating, insisting demons would not allow her to consume food. She dropped to just 68 pounds. Her knees were shattered from kneeling in constant prayer. Her body bore the bruises of violent convulsions and self-inflicted wounds. And yet, she begged the priests to continue. According to her, she was not only fighting for herself, she was fighting for the souls of others. She once told her mother, "I must suffer for the youth of today, and for priests and for the church." In her mind, she was a warrior in a spiritual war. The tragic death. On July 1, 1976, after nearly a year of grueling exorcisms, Annalise Michel, Emily Rose, died. Her body was broken. Her spirit, exhausted. She was only 23 years old. When her death became public, it shocked the world. How could this happen in the modern age? The trial that shook the world. Her parents and the two priests were charged with negligent homicide. The courtroom became a battlefield between science and faith. Doctors testified that Annalise had severe epilepsy and psychosis, and that her death was a result of neglect. But the priests argued that what they faced was not a disease, it was something unholy. The tapes were played in court. Journalists and onlookers sat in silence, listening to the horrifying growls, the unnatural screams, the voices of demons captured on tape. The trial ended with a guilty verdict, but the priests received suspended sentences. Still, the world was left divided. Was Annalise Michel a victim of untreated illness? Or was she truly possessed? The legacy of Emily Rose. Her grave in Klingenberg became a place of pilgrimage. To this day, visitors leave flowers, candles, and rosaries, praying for her soul. Her story inspired the 2005 Hollywood film The Exorcism of Emily Rose. But no movie, no matter how frightening, can fully capture the reality of what happened in that small German town. Because the most terrifying part of this case is not the story itself, it's the recordings. If you choose to listen to them, do so with caution. Many claim that even today, the sounds of Emily's voice carry a darkness that lingers long after the tape ends. So what do you believe? Was Emily Rose a deeply ill young woman failed by the system? Or was she the victim of a demonic possession, caught in a battle no one could truly understand? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. Her voice, the voice captured in those chilling tapes, remains one of the most disturbing things ever recorded. And once you hear it, you may never forget it. This has been Whispers After Midnight. And remember, sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that are true. Sleep tight, if you can.